does someone overcome, I guess, the fears and indoctrination that comes from, what's rooted in Christianity? How do you move beyond that point? Because we're taught in religion that there are very real and serious consequences for denying God. So how do you move beyond that?
So first of all, there's a group called Recovering from Religion, which specializes in helping people with this. They are even putting together a hotline. There are also counselors like Marlene Winnell, who's talked about religious trauma syndrome and actually counsels people. I've heard from people who've been atheists for 30, 40, 50 years who still wake up with nightmares of the threat of hell, etc. It really depends on how big of a problem this is.
The fear aspect of the indoctrination is incredibly powerful, and it can't really be understated, I think, how damaging it is as an aspect of it. So, all I can say is that it is simply something that takes time. It takes time, and it takes, you have to, over years, you as you grow a little bit more confident in yourself, and things like, the fear of death and the fear of hell, or the fear of this or that or the other consequence, they may never entirely go away, but they will be significantly reduced. I mean, I no longer see hell as a concept to take seriously, but there were still many, many years of, the whole Pascal's wager idea of what if. Yeah, I mean, it's on its surface, it's a very easy argument to refute, but when it gets you in your emotional centers, that's still, the impact of that can't be minimized, and it should be taken seriously among people who are really trying to leave their religion. And you just need to kind of understand that and give yourself that time and allow yourself, just whatever room you need to grow away from it at your own pace.
I didn't actually suffer from this too much. I can tell you a little bit about the thoughts that went through my head on the subject that for me kind of quickly got rid of any of that. And that is, while I was a Christian, how much time did I spend worrying about some other religion's version of heaven or hell? And the answer was zero. And so now that I'm not a Christian, how much time should I spend worrying about Christianity's version of heaven and hell? Certainly in comparison to worrying about those other religions. If I didn't care about them then there's no reason to worry about it now. And the other one is that there's nothing I can do about it either way. And as long as I am honestly living an intellectually honest life, if there's some God that's going to punish me for that, then he's a moral thug. And I wouldn't care to be friends with him in the first place. Why on earth would I care to appease? If there is a God who can squish me like a bug, great. What does that prove? Does it prove that I should, suck up and do things that I find to actually be immoral on behalf of this God for fear that I might get squished? No. And because I don't think it's real at all, I don't spend a moment worrying about it.
What I usually encourage people to do also is, think about this aspect of it specifically. You're afraid right now. So at a certain point in your upbringing, in your Christian indoctrination, in your youth or something, those ideas were implanted in you. And think about if an idea has to enforce compliance through fear, what does that say about the idea, the value of the idea? Not just the truth value of it, but the moral value of it. If you have to be terrorized into accepting a belief and then adhering to a belief above all else, that should say something. And you should really, really consider the value of the belief at that point.
Yeah. If there was a God that cared more about the fact that you believed something, and in particular if you believed it without good evidence, and this was a good thing, there's already a problem with that God's reasoning abilities.